This side or this side? I'm still trying to figure out my better side. Maybe it's just coming right at you. Hey, welcome to another episode of Cooking in the Raw. I'm your host, Laura Shelby, aka Shell, and it's the holiday season. And because it's the holiday season, I like to entertain. I know you like to entertain. So I'm going to be doing some fall and winter type hearty dishes, plus some appetizers, simple appetizers you can prepare. In fact, I like to prepare some of these dishes right before my guests. Although the long cooking items, you want to do that ahead of time. But some of these short cooking items, just do it right in front of the guests. Make it entertaining, have some wine. Let's say hello to my camera operator. Hey, camera operator.
Hello, hello.
I hope you guys had a chance to check us out doing the Cola Food and Wine show. I mean, she was fabulous. You know, gave me a green drink, got me juiced up, and I was ready to do my thing. So how about this? Why don't you give me, well, I might as well not call you camera operator anymore. I mean, you're famous now. You've been on the film.
I am. You're right.
Jackie Schwartz. So why don't you pour us up a glass of wine?
All right.
And I'll start with the first thing here. I'm going to chop up some veg here. What we'll do here is going to do something with some salmon and I like to call a root vegetable hash. Okay? Something I do in the restaurant that I work out the Elkhart Inn. And we're going to get started. I'll start first with chopping up, a little bit of potato. It's just the two of us, so I'm not going to do a whole lot. What do you think about that?
I'm hungry. So
yep, you're hungry?
I'm hungry.
You heard it. She is hungry. Well, let me take that from you. Bellissimo. Salute to a good show. All right.
So, Shell, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you had said, do it right in front of your guests, well, how about if you have your guests help you do it? They can chop right with you. Chop or chunk.
Chop or chunk. If you caught the show at the Cola Food and Wine, we learned what chunking was. And I was a good chunker when it came to chopping. Or is it chunking? Well, the ingredients are, you have a white potato, you have a yam, sweet yam, white onion, leek, garlic, red onion, some carrots I shredded earlier. I have salmon here wrapped in a paper towel just to get the moisture out, because you don't want the moisture. You want to get a nice coloring on it when you put it inside the pan. Extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to make a simple vinaigrette when we get to that part. But right now, let's start prepping. Let's start chopping. So, when working with potatoes, I like to, set the potatoes up so I get a nice, square piece out of it. So I'm going to cut down the potato in nice, even slices on the long way. Now, if you can't hold a potato still, when you take that first slice out, turn it down flat, keeps the potato from moving. Ooh. And now just slice.
I like that. Then I want to have a rocking potato.
You want to have I like that, a rocking potato. All right, so why don't I just go ahead and do it this way now? All right, you can keep that first chunk or discard it, save it for later. And then we'll cut nice, even slices off the potato, which will be good. Now we're going to cut these kind of small. It looks pretty, and also it's going to cook a little faster. All right, there we go there. That should be enough potato. I'm going to take the rest of these, stick them in the water. Now, let's get my pot going. Let's throw in some olive oil. So we're going to start that process earlier. So as soon as we get the potato sliced, I'm probably going to toss those right in the fire. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so now, nice stack here. Take a couple at a time. Cut it into strips. Okay? This is how you start forming nice, little simple, even dice on the potatoes. Alright? Take you a nice little handful of the sticks. You can see that right here. And get a picture of that. Hey, that's a French fry. Oh my gosh, I haven't cut a potato that straight in years. Whoa! Alright, so you take a few of those strips here, French fries, and just cut them into dice. Bam! Look at that. Easy that is. All uniform, even. Keep the skin on if you like. Peel it if you like. I'm going to stick that in the water here so we don't get any coloring going on here, and just go down the line. Look at that. Done. Whoops, it's jumped off of the stack. Sometimes that happens, okay? Just restack, regroup, get a slice, okay? Now again, we're just doing just enough here just to get us started here, for us to have a nice, simple dessert. Because with the addition of all the other ingredients that we have in here, this is going to be a nice little hash that we got going on here. So Jack, you got any allergies?
Not to any food, I don't.
Not to any food?
Well, maybe oatmeal.
Oatmeal? How can anybody have an allergy to oatmeal? Now, is it because of gluten, or is it simply because of taste?
Oh, I think it's because of taste.
Okay. All right. Well, that can happen sometimes. You know, some people, you know, have the thing about textures. You know, me myself, the more the merrier. I've been fortunate to have a palate and have a body that just simply likes to eat. And eat is what I do. All right. So I'm going to take these out of here. Set these to the side so it'll make it a lot easier for me to grab. I'll get these in a bag in the fridge. Maybe just to grab the potatoes out. Same thing here with the yam. Okay? You can take yourself, find a good place to start. It seems straighter on this side, so I'm going to take my stabilizing piece off right here. There you go.
So what's the difference between a yam and a sweet potato? Are they different?
Yam is just a general name for that type of potato. Sweet potato, I mean, most yams, you know, it goes across the board. You have a yellow yam, red yam, a white yam. You know, each of those have entirely different flavors or taste textures. But the red yam is typically the sweeter type yam. Okay? Now, I'm going to take my slices out. Okay? There's two.
And it also seems like when I cut a yam or a sweet potato, it's much harder to cut than a regular potato.
Not as soft. I mean, it's like I'm having here. You know, gotta have a sharp knife also, but it's a little bit rougher, a much tougher root, if I have to say that. I mean, potato is a root type veg. Nice little fries. Hey, yam fries.
I think that should be a video.
Yam fries?
Yep.
Is that what you said? Is that your bid? Joe, you should do a yam fry video.
Yeah, yam fries. Okay.
We get those chopped up, and that's going to be enough of that. I mean, don't worry so much about the ratios and the proportion. I mean, do what you like. You know, I could give you a ratio and proportion, you know, like 1 and 1. You know, both of these were pretty much medium-sized potatoes, so you can go 1 and 1, you know, or 2 and 1. And there you go. We get these in the water here. I'm going to cook all these together. Oftentimes, when I'm in the restaurant, I cook the yams and the sweet potato and the potato separate. You know, so I can get different coloring and different points of cooking. So that'll be that there. Let me get a little napkin here. Wipe off the knife. I would say probably the most, and this is why I come back. This is why I say have your friends, do this in front of your friends. Maybe get some of them involved with it. You know, the most involved process is the prep process. So now we're going to do some simple light dice. Get 3 types of onions here. White onion, red onion, red onion. I mean, that's going to give you all of your flavor in the dish. Again, another root vegetable. That's why I like to call this a root vegetable hash. Simple dice. And the prep actually goes by quick. Now, remember I said to you in previous videos, always use your senses. You know, if you can't see behind yourself, listen to what's happening, to what you have on the stove, your pot, or smell. I can smell the olive oil getting warm. So I'm going to turn this down. Okay, the electric stove, remember, it takes a while to cool down. It's going to take a while to heat up. But it's hot enough now, I'm going to turn it down so it can just maintain a warm temperature. And then right before I get ready to start cooking, I'm going to crank it up. Because I want a really nice saute on my vegetables. So that's enough of onion. We get that in here, inside of our other dish. There we go there. Yeah. So now that the secret's out, we know who the camera operator is. Jackie, what is it you do when you're not operating the camera?
I'm inspiring you, Shell Kid, cooking in the raw.
Because I need inspiration. I'm serious, I need a lot of inspiration. So we take our, now I cut and clean these. These were leeks that I grew in the garden. Alright? Now I'm just gonna simply julienne these. These are gonna sprinkle when they cook. I want these just to be simply julienne. All right, that's gonna take care of that one. I mean, all of these onions are gonna impart an entirely different flavor profile to the dish. And that's what I enjoy about cooking. I like to say I like to cook in layers, you know. I mean, I don't want to just toss everything in a pot and hope for the best. I want each layer to build on top of the other because it'll give a certain depth or flavor and a level of complexity to the dish. I mean, that's why I like to cook the way I do. What do you think about that, Jackie?
I think that's awesome.
Awesome?
I never understood layered cooking. I just throw everything in the pot and it just kind of molds itself together.
Hence crock pot cookery.
No, probably not even a crock pot though.
And you know what? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because in the end, all that's going to matter is the flavor and how delicious the dish is. That's the most important part, right?
Yes, it is.
Right, so there's our leeks going in. One more onion, a little bit of the red onion, and then we'll do a little bit of the garlic. All right, you see, I don't like when onions, when they come in all these different sections, you can't get a nice clean cut, but you do your best. And what I like to do is just take a piece off, give it a chop.
Do you think a red onion is spicier than the other onions? Or is there such, would that be a good way to describe it, or not?
Pungent.
Or hot?
Pungent would be a good way.
Pungent,
not necessarily spicy, because you know you have pungency, you have sweetness. Some onions can be sweeter.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to having that more pungent type of character, which can at some point be like a subtle spiciness. But I think spice would be a little misleading. You know, you want people to start thinking, well, I can't have that onion because it's spicy.
Oh, it's spicy.
Yeah, no, can't say that.
I can smell it over here, though.
Do you like onions?
Yeah, I love onions.
You know, it's very rare you find people that absolutely just love onions.
I can just eat onions. I can't believe I just said that out loud.
I can't believe you just said that out loud either. I can just eat onions. So there you have it, folks. Jackie Short can just eat onions like they're apples.
Yeah, onions.
But you know what? I have to say to you, if the onion is fresh, like if you're getting it fresh from the garden, if the onion is very fresh, I mean, it wouldn't be as strong tasting as an onion that's been sitting around or sitting in the refrigerator. So I can totally relate to that. Last thing, garlic. Let's turn our fire up here. Last thing would be some garlic cloves here. And the garlic's will go in absolutely last. When we get the onions a head start, then toss in the garlic. And then we'll add the potatoes. And let things just continue to cook out. And once that's going, we'll start on the salmon. Now again, this dish isn't about the garlic, it's about everything coming together. You know, so it doesn't take a lot of garlic for this dish. We want all the flavors to just come together in this dish. Not one to overpower the other. And I'm going to use oregano. I mean, we're now out of the summer season. Some people have herb planters in their kitchens. I unfortunately do not. So I'm going to use dried herbs. This is the time to take advantage of using dried herbs. I'm totally not against dried herbs. I mean, you find a lot of people in cookbooks of cooking say, you know what, use fresh herbs. But we all don't have fresh herbs at our disposal all year long. So if you grow herbs in the spring and in the summer months, you know, put some aside and dry them and have them for the rest of the season. I didn't dry any herbs this year. I was too busy in the restaurant. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some bought, pre-dried herbs.
How would you dry herbs? Just leave them lay out?
You can hang them, and dry them, air dry them naturally, or you can put them on low temperature in the oven and dry the herbs. I do them both ways. Let's get the garlic off my hands here. Now we are ready to start cooking. All right, don't let me down now, electric oven. It should be ready here. We got a medium heat here, my wooden spoon. plate. And here we go. Now again, I tossed the garlic in there, you saw that. But with the onions and then cooking nice and low, this isn't a browning kind of process, it's more of an aromatic process. So we'll do this nice and slow and low. We don't want any browning, we just want the onions and the garlic to release their natural oils, natural juices. Okay? Wow, you can smell it over there, can't you?
I can. It smells delicious. Like I can just eat it like just like that.
I bet you can. That's right. I just eat straight onions. Throw a little bit more oil in there. Okay? Now we simply just let that simmer. Keep eye on it without browning. While that's doing its thing over there, and we put the carrots in next. Let me get a bag for my potatoes here. Save these for another day, like for a soup or something. These go back in the fridge. Now, I would have to use these like within a day if I'm not keeping them in water. So I'll probably do something with those a little bit later. Right now, they're sitting there. This is doing its thing. While that's doing its thing, we'll move on to the salmon. How about another sip of wine?
Sounds good.
Let's set that here. So with the salmon,
I have a question, Chef.
yes.
So do you make all your onions and garlics before you put your potatoes in?
In this case, I am.
Oh, you do?
In this case, I am, because I want that flavor from the onions, in this case, to become a part of the potatoes as it's cooking. Okay? Let's get a strain on this here.
Oh, it smells good.
Not too bad.
Whew.
Drain the water here. As I said, remember I said in the restaurant, I do it all separately. There's no reason why you can't do them all together. Just in steps. In steps. We got this water off. Now you can take a towel and dry these off a little bit more. But I'm just going to go with it. The extra water in here will give a little bit of steam. As the pot heats, it's going to evaporate the water and give us some color with the oil. Okay? And this is where, you know, again, you got your company here, you guys are conversating, having a good time, drinking my wine. You know, it'd be good to have some additional snacks out already. So now we'll add our potatoes here. And that's going to help with keeping our onions and garlic from scorching and burning. Toss that through. A little bit more oil here. Alright, now we let those do their thing. Now I'm not going to season them just yet. I have plenty of time for that. Plenty of time. That's doing its thing. Alright, now we come back over here to our salmon.
Would you be able to use any kind of fish in this dish?
You can, but I like
salmon?
to use salmon in this particular dish. I like the contrasting, the richness of the dish here, the full flavor here. But you can use any white fish as well. Now with this here, I'm simply going to cut it into little cubes. Then we serve it on little spoons. So we get some nice cubes here. Cut our strips first for the width that we want the cubes to be. And then we cube it. Alright. How easy that was. Very easy. Done, done, done. All right? Done, done, done. Checking our potatoes.
Oh, smells good.
Hmm?
Smells really good.
Thank you. Then you see, having the potatoes in with the onions, how it's not scorching or burning the onions and the garlic, but all the flavors coming together. In fact, potatoes are slowly starting to brown. With the steam that's in there, they're getting soft, so they're cooking and steaming. As soon as I crank up the heat more, we start with the browning process on. Okay? Now in the restaurant, what I do is I partially fry, deep fry the potatoes just to get a nice of the color and pre-cook and finish them off in the oven. And the onions are sauteed separately with the carrots. Since I have, and the carrots are usually in dice, but since I have shredded carrots today, I'll be able to toss those carrots right on top of there. Alright, so now let me get a couple more gloves here. Get our fire going for our salmon. Now you don't want to put the salmon on too soon, alright? Because you want it to be, you know, nice and warm when you serve it. So how about I do this first? While I'm waiting on my potatoes here, well, I don't want to steam too much. Let's crank that fire up. I'm going to make a little simple vinaigrette that's going to go on top of the salmon. Alright? So we're going to go 2 to 1. 2 parts oil to 1 part vinaigrette. That's what I like to do. Okay? So if you have to measure, you can go, we're talking about a 1/4 cup of vinegar to 2 or 1/2 cup of oil. Alright, simple ratio. But I'm not measuring it out that way because I don't really need that much. I'm going to add my vinegar, and I'll know how much oil I need to add to that.
And what kind of vinegar is that?
This is red wine vinegar.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to put in just a little bit of salt now, just to start the process off. A couple of grinds of pepper. Okay? And some dried oregano. Okay? So look at that, you can see the browning starting to take place as I crank the fire up a little bit more. Okay? They're already soft. We'll test one. The potatoes are already soft. Still got a nice bite to them. You can just taste the garlic and the onion in that dish. Okay? But they're not finished cooking yet. We'll let that keep going. Now, you can do 1 or 2 things here. You can whisk where you add your oil, which helps with blending the oil and the vinegar together. Or sometimes I like to have a loose vinaigrette. So I add my oil, what I want here, and then I whisk it. And have just like a simple loose vinaigrette. The process is still going to be the same. It's just a matter of how tight you want your vinaigrette to be. You know, test it, taste it, see if it's a good enough ratio for yourself. And some people like to have, you know, a nice zing of vinegar to the vinaigrette. Some people don't. It really depends. Some people add sugar, some people don't. I tend to like it just like that. I get a spoon here, taste it. Now it's going to be amazing. You'll see what I'm going to do with that vinaigrette. We add a little bit more olive oil to this. A little bit more oil over here. Just a little bit. Now I think the mistake is made oftentimes when people are cooking with oil is they add too much oil in the beginning. Your ingredients are going to absorb the oil as it cooks. So I like to add just a little oil at a time as I need it when cooking. Okay?
That's brilliant. Because I was actually one who would put too much oil in, I think, because I didn't think you could add it during your cooking process.
Well, if you look at it, you don't see a lot of oil in the pan.
No, not at all.
You know, you see the moisture from the ingredients itself.
I like that tip.
Turn that down.
Great tip.
Now we add some salt and pepper to our potatoes. A little salt. And this is sea salt. I like to grind my sea salt sometimes so I can have the coarse salt and I can have grind salt. So I still have some ground sea salt left. We have to grind some more using a simple coffee grinder. Some oregano here for a nice herbaceous, earthy flavor. Wow, you can smell that.
I think they should make a candle with that scent.
Make a candle with the scent. So that's doing its thing. I'm gonna put in a little bit of the vinaigrette into the cooked dish. Alright? This is my acid. It's like if I was adding citrus to it or lemon to it. Same thing here. Okay? So that gives a little bit more zing to the dish. Now we're going to taste it and see where we're at with salt, and pepper, and the herb. Make sure it's going to continue to cook until we do our salmon. Perfect. Like to try?
Yes, I would love to try.
So you would think that it wouldn't be done. Here you go. A little bit more pepper, I think.
Very good. It even has a little crunch to it.
Yes. Okay, we turn this fire down. That continues cooking. Boom. Now it's on to our salmon. Now the salmon, simple, salt and pepper, nothing fancy. Because the salmon is going to have its own flavor on its own. And then when we mix that with the potatoes, it's just going to be nice. At least I think. Okay. I'm just going to salt and pepper this right on the board. No, don't be stingy with it. A little salt. Okay. Some pepper. You know what? I think I'll put another spice to it. Let's see what I got here. What can I do? Alright. I'm going to do a little bit of 00. I always have a stash of 00. Just a little bit, you know, just to kind of darken that flavor a little bit on the salmon here. Not a lot. You got some pepper flakes in there, you know, to give it just a little bit more gusto. Okay? So we'll do that. And that video for the spices, it's really in the mix because I'm low. It's a holiday season and I'm going to need those spices. Okay, get rid of the knife. Bring this over. Our pot is getting hot. Some olive oil. That's doing nicely. Crank this up. And I'm going to need some tongs. And here we go. Now you don't want to overcrowd your pan here. I have a smaller pan, but I'm going to make it work. Okay? And
wait for it.
Wait for it. Gotta wait for it. You know, it is electric. Don't want to be too hasty, otherwise things are going to steam. Let me turn this up a little bit more. Okay? Wait. What do you think? You think we're good?
I think we're good.
Here we go. Ah, nice little simple sizzle. We'll toss that in. Get them all in. Now I like to cook my salmon to like a medium to medium well temperature. You know, especially if it's fresh. Okay. Set that there, get rid of gloves. And bam. Now we're moving on. Nice dark flavors here. Okay? This is a quick saute. Okay? Until they're done. When they get it nice and colored on all sides, it's done in the middle. Alright? We'll let that do its thing there. And let's get set up over here. We're going to put a little bit more of oregano in here. In the salmon. If you have dried parsley, by all means, use dried parsley. An Italian blend, use an Italian blend. Okay? If you want to use fresh, then use fresh. Let's start our plate up here. So again, this is an hors d'oeuvre, a one bite type thing. Okay? So to make sure that people get enough. Alright? Actually, to make sure they come back for more.
So are those like spoon boats, or what would you call those that you have there?
In fact, what they are those Japanese spoons that you get when you're at the Chinese spoons. You get the Chinese place with the soup, or in the Japanese place
okay.
with the soup. That's what they are. Right. So now, let's take our spoon here and bring this closer. And we fill our spoons. Salmon's cooking nicely. Take that off the fire. Residual heat will continue cooking it. So I'm trying to gauge. 1 bite, 2 bites. Jackie did say she was hungry. So I'll make these 2 biters. Okay? And we don't want the guests to feel uncomfortable when they're eating, okay? Alright, that's off. Turn that off. Now, we take our salmon. We place the salmon right on top. As you can see, there's nothing to it. If you feel like it, if you're feeling generous, place 2 pieces on top.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Give me some salmon. So place 2 pieces on top. 1 more piece for the last one. Hey, there was nothing in the tongs on that one. Okay. Set that down. The last piece for the dish. We'll give our vinaigrette another stir here. And we'll do 3 with vinaigrette, and we'll do 2. In fact, I'm going to do it with the Sicilian olive oil. The last 2 will have the extra virgin olive oil from Sicily. Nice, flavorful, full flavored oil there. Okay? Oh, rub it in. Don't waste the oil. And that is our dish with the wine. And I'm going to take the first bite with the wine. You want the Sicilian or you want the vinaigrette? What would you like, Jackie?
I would like the vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette, okay.
I'll try that one first.
Let's give you this here. Here you go there for the vinaigrette. Whoa. There you go there. Now I'll take the Sicilian one. I hope you enjoyed this show, or this episode of Cooking in Raw. I'm going to take the test now and see how it goes. You can just take the whole thing into the mouth, or you can just eat a little bit at a time. Myself, I'm going for the gold. Whoa, that's good. Now try with the wine. Good match. I'll see you next time on Cooking in Raw when I present to you more dishes for your holiday table. Light appetizers, enjoy time with friends. Let your palate be the guide. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time. We're gonna party. Ciao now.